Yashala. I'm saying come Yashala. Ay, come Yashala. Rise is real. Rise is real. I pray to God I will wake up. He answered me now that I woke up. I feel like I gotta say something. I gotta try to erase out all of they lies, all the fake stuff. The shit that they taught us was made up.
Zephaniah chapter 3 and start at verse number 11. Start at verse number 14. Right? Zephaniah chapter 3 and start at verse 14. And can another brother go to Isaiah chapter 62, start at the time.
Book of Zephaniah, chapter 3 and verse 14. Sing, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all the heart, O daughters of Jerusalem.
Right, so the Lord said, be glad and rejoice and sing and shout because of the things that are to come. You understand that the kingdom of heaven, us being delivered from being oppressed. You understand that? Will be the opposite of being bad. Let's go to it in Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7 before we go continue on that. You understand that? We're going to go from a state of being sad and sorrowful and depressed and trampled with bills and debt and things of that nature to singing and rejoicing because of the salvation that is to come in the future. Read that.
Right. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Right, so going through oppression here in America, it makes wise men mad, right? Understanding that insurance is just a scam. Understanding that the school systems that our children get raised up under, you understand that, is not for the betterment of our people. In terms of educating us about our history, about who we are as a people, and how we can flourish with following the Most High God, man. It says oppression makes a wise man mad. Right, so we are going to be leaving off from this, thinking about the kingdom of heaven. Right, Peter?
And a gift destroyeth the heart.
And the gift, can you go to the book of Judith chapter 5, and go to verse number 17. Right, before we go back to Zephaniah chapter 3. Judith 5 and 17. Because we are going to be translated. Can you go to that in the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 4?
It's the book of Judith, chapter 5 and verse 17.
Right.
In which they sin not before their God.
So go to 16.
Or 16. And they cast forth before them the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Jebusites and the Circanites and the Girgashites.
I didn't mean to do that to
no,
you.
You good, huh?
I didn't mean to do that to you.
And they dwell
right,
in the country many days.
Right, they dwell in the country many days. So what we're reading about is a conversation about our people. So read the next verse.
And they in which they sin not before their God, they prospered.
Right, so when we sin not before our God, we prosper. As a nation of people, when we're not in the streets killing each other, when we got the correct dietary law and things of that nature, when we're not doing those things, we prosper. You know?
Because the God that hateth iniquity was with them.
Because our God hates iniquity.
That's right.
As a father, he gave us a certain way to live. He gave us laws, statutes, and commandments. And when we break those things that he gave us, he's going to hate it, right? Common sense will teach you that, right? So us as a people, us living in the ways of society, us living in the ways of America, etc. You understand that? The Most High God is going to be against us. You can read about that in the book of Song of Solomon, right? Solomon said, "My beloved have withdrawn himself. He has withdrawn himself from us." Because when we walk in the ways contrary to the Most High God, he will withdraw himself. He won't hear our prayers. He won't be there to save us. He won't be there to fight our battles, right? You know?
Time. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore.
Right, there you go. You can drop that. Go to Song of Solomon chapter 5, verse 15. Read that.
You want Thessalonians?
Yeah, 4, go straight to verse 16.
It's the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout.
Right, so during this second coming, right, when Yahweh Shah visits us back on this earth, it's going to be with a shout. Read.
And with the trump, with the voice of the archangel, with the trump of God.
Right, so we laying the foundation. We're laying the foundation to get to that kingdom of heaven. Right, understanding that we go from being a nation of people that wasn't listening to the Most High God, but then repented to obtain that favor to the second coming of the Lord, we understand that, hey, guess what? It's going to be a shout. It's going to be a lot of hell breaking loose on the earth, right? To bring forth that kingdom of heaven. Read,
And the dead in Christ shall rise first.
you know?
Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore comfort one another with these words.
Right, so we can comfort one another with the words of salvation and the second coming of the Lord.
Right.
You can go and read that in Song of Solomon, and we can go back to Zephaniah
Well, chapter verse.
5 and 8.
The book of Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 8. I charge you, O daughter of Jerusalem, if ye find my beloved, that ye tell him, and I am sick of love.
Yeah, where's that? Right there, 6.
God. Verse 6. I open to my beloved.
Right, so my beloved is Yahweh Shah. Solomon saying, I opened to my beloved, meaning I went to the Christian, nowadays, I went to the Christian church. I started listening to people and doing Bible studies. I started reading the Bible. I started listening to conspiracy theories. Hey, what's going on, brother? Hey, you got a few seconds for the Bible real quick? Hey, brother, let me get 2 minutes of your time real fast. All right, I started listening to the conspiracy theories. I started going to the Sunday church. I'm trying to do the right thing. I stopped cussing. What's some most people do? You know what I'm saying? I went vegan. I started eating a whole bunch of fruits and etc. Right? I'm just on a spiritual journey, man. Right? Some people, they open to their beloved. Read on.
God. But my beloved had withdrawn himself
But he will withdraw himself. Read.
and was gone, and my soul failed when he spake. I sought him, but I could not find him.
So even when sometimes, right? Even sometimes when he does speak to you, or when he does put a YouTube video, your algorithm, or whatever the case may be, of the truth, sometimes it may not be received right then and there. Many people can attest for them, their journey coming into the truth. It wasn't immediate. It might have took a couple months, a couple weeks. It might have took some time, right? So some people, that is their testimony that they would share, right? So sometimes, guess what? When you open to your beloved, you open to your Yahushua, he will withdraw himself. But the key to it is the point of it is once we start keeping those commandments and we start repenting and keeping that faith in Yahushua, that's when he will actually adhere to you and reveal himself to you, man. Right? So this is right now we laying the foundation to the kingdom of heaven. And it's like a love story, man. It's like a love poem. You go from cold waters and ignoring each other, blocking each other phone numbers, and watching each other Instagram stories, but not really talking to each other, to really being with each other and getting caught up in the clouds forevermore, man. That's the same thing with us and Yahweh. That's why we read about the marriage. So we're going to get into this thing, man. We got a million things to unfold, a million precepts we're going to get into, man. So let's read this, finish this in Zephaniah chapter 3.
Book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, and verse 15. The Lord hath taken away thy judgment. He hath cast out thy enemy. The King of Israel, even the Lord, is in the midst of thee.
Right, so he will be our king in those days, man. The King of Israel, he will be in the midst of us in that kingdom of heaven. Right? You can hold that right there. Brothers got points.
I still got this in Isaiah, which one?
No, you can drop it. You got a point? All right, let's read that. Finish that. Zephaniah chapter.
It said, thou shalt not see evil anymore.
Right, and then we're not going to see evil no more in the kingdom of heaven. Right, in the kingdom of heaven, Christ is going to be the king. Right. So that's not necessarily going to be a requirement for us to come out here and establish God's laws like we do so right now. Right. There's not going to be a requirement for us to come out here and to convert a sinner of our people to repentance and back to the Lord, man. There's not going to be a requirement of that because our king is going to be the Lord. Our king nowadays in the world is entertainers, right? Our kings nowadays in the world, for some people, it's the president, man, right? For the coons, man, they look up to the presidents, right? And whatever is going on, and they get themselves into politics and things of that nature. I think they know what they're talking about, man.
Right.
You follow? So, in those days, our king will be Yahweh. So when it comes to influence, and when it comes to instruction, and when it comes to leadership, and when it comes to guidance, all of these things are going to be in the spirit of righteousness. And then, in those days, Jacob's gonna really understand what we was getting at, man.
That's right.
In those days, Jacob's gonna understand what it really means to love your neighbor, to leave off for the poor, and to not oppress your people, right? To not have interest charges and unnecessary stuff like insurance and things of that nature, man. You follow? In those days when Yahweh Shah is our king, we're gonna leave off of being angry. It's not gonna be any more negativity. All right, read on. I'm gonna take that back. There will be negativity, but it's righteous negativity. Read on.
Verse 16, in that day it shall be said, in that day it shall be said to Jerusalem, fear thou not.
Right? Fear thou not. Don't be afraid. It's not gonna be nothing to be afraid of. You're not gonna have to worry about getting into an argument with your wife and potentially having to go through the court system, man. You're not gonna have to fear going out, not allowing your kids to go outside and play. You're not gonna have to fear the certain fears that we have in the society because this is the times that we live in, man. Right? Somebody breaking into your property, your car, or whatever the case may be. Read on.
Let not thy hand be slack.
Hey, brother, for the pizza, can I get 2 minutes of time for the bar real quick? Hey, brother, it's not gonna get cold. Let me get like 30 seconds, real fast. Read on.
Let not thy hand be slack. The Lord thy God in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save thee. He will save. Like he will save. He will rejoice over thee with joy. He
Right.
will.
Right, go ahead.
He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing.
Read on.
I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly, who are these to whom the reproach of it was a burden.
Hold on. Go to Isaiah 66 and 1. That's what I want. Isaiah 66 and 1. Right? All right, the Most High God will rejoice over us in that day. Read on.
Now, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 1. Thus saith Yahweh, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye built unto me? And where is the place of my rest? For all those things hath mine hand made, and all those things have been, saith Yahweh. But to this man will I look, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit, and trembleth at my word.
Right, so those are a few characteristics that Isaiah is depicting, right, who is going to obtain the kingdom of heaven for,
That's
to
right.
keep it simple, man.
That's right.
So read that one more time, those 3 things.
God, it says, but to this man will I look, even to him that is poor.
Right, so to this man, this specific man, he is poor. It's not talking about being physically poor, right? It's talking about being in an impoverished state. So whereas though you hunger and you thirst after the Lord, somebody that's poor, they lack the basic necessities of life, such as clothing, housing, water, and food, right? So when it's talking about being poor, it's talking about how you hunger and you thirst after the Lord. It's talking about how you don't have a dedicated shelter to stay in because we here in America, you find yourself constantly on the move, trying to teach people here, teach people there. It's really on the spiritual level when it's talking about being poor, right? Read.
And of a contrite spirit.
A contrite spirit, right? A spirit of contrition, right? Sincerity. Can a brother pull up the definition of contrite? Baba Kashan? The definition of contrition, or the definition of contrite, right? I want to touch on that, right? Because this is something that a lot of people actually lack. Contrition will be something that a lot of people lack due to pride. So let's read the definition.
Contrite. The feeling or expression, remorse, and penitence. Salah.
Right. Remorse or penitence. You know?
Affected by guilt.
Right. So when you have when you lack remorse and penitence, you so stuck up in your own ways that when other people fall short or when other people are not at a level that you are, you look at them as they're beneath you. Right? That's the opposite of being poor, right? Or being in an impoverished state when it comes to the spiritual life of the Most High God. You so rich in understanding, you so rich in subscribers, you so rich in breakdowns and all these other things that, man, this guy is nothing to me. This breakdown is nothing to me, right? This conversation we have is not even worth my time at this point. You understand that? That's a lack of contrition. It's really due to pride. It said due to what? What did the definition say?
Due to, affected by guilt.
Right, that's it on that.
Yeah, kind.
Right, so let's go back to the precept in Isaiah.
God, it's the book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 2. For all those things hath mine hand made.
On one more thing, it said poor.
Also like it. I'll jump back down. It says, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit,
Read on.
and trembleth at my word.
And trembleth at the Lord's word. Right? How important is that? Right? Somebody that can actually take heed unbiasedly to the words of the Lord, man. Right. Tremble at the word at the word of the Lord. And fear the Lord is what it's really getting into. Meaning you go through a lesson, you learn something new, or you have an understanding of the scriptures and you're adhering to it, man.
That's right.
Not just hearing about the Sabbath day and coming up with some asinine excuse of why you can't keep it, man. Right? How many times have we heard that? Right? Oh, that's the Old Testament, or whatever people like to come up with. Right? Right? Actually keeping these things once we learn it and obtaining it once we have that spirit. So read on.
God, continuing on. It says, he that killeth an ox is as if he slew a man. He that sacrificeth a lamb, as if he cut off a dog's neck. He that offereth an oblation, as if he offered swine's blood.
Right, so meaning the people that don't obtain those spiritual qualities, when they do go to sacrifice, it has no meaning. It holds no weight. It has, it is not for an actual purpose. Meaning it's not purging any sins. You understand that? Read on.
God, continuing on. It says, as if he offered swine's blood. He that burneth incense, as if he blessed an idol. Yea, they have chosen their own ways, and their soul delighteth in their abomination.
Read that one more time. They what?
Salakia, chosen their own ways, and their soul delighteth in their abomination.
Right, so I went to this precept to go to show you that the Most High is coming to save these particular people, but that's the spirit that's gonna be in the kingdom of heaven. I'm gonna look for this precept, but when Yahweh Shai invited people to the kingdom of heaven, when Yahweh Shai invited people to the supper, you understand that? When Yahweh Shai invited people to that marriage, to that wedding, you wanna invite people how you want it to look. You invite people to a party, you invite people to a wedding, you say we're gonna wear this color. This is gonna be the theme. Like this is the music that we're gonna hear. It's gonna be a jazz festival. It's gonna be a rock band festival, whatever the case may be. That's what it is for the kingdom of heaven, man. So that's something that a lot of Christians, a lot of people that don't necessarily have this understanding can adhere to. When you read these scriptures about Yahweh Shai inviting people to the kingdom of heaven, you have to come prepared to that event, to that world event. I can't be in the kingdom of heaven with the same person that I was 6 years ago, right? Taj. I can't be that guy, man. I have to be a more righteous version of myself. I have to be who Yahweh Shai wants to see there, right? I'm not going to invite people to my party that's going to disrespect me, right? I'm not going to invite people to my wedding that want to commit adultery with my wife. You understand that? Yeah. That's how we got to think about this kingdom of heaven, man. And it's very important. Brother got points?
Wow. Can somebody grab Romans 12 and 2? Because that's a very important point. Because a lot of times, even in the Israelite community, right, you see a lot of brothers and they kind of toe in the line, right? They kind of like, they want to be an Israelite, but they want to do everything the world do to appease the world. We'll read that.
Romans chapter 12, verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Right. So we're not supposed to be reflecting what the world reflects to be able to say, oh, you know, I'm just trying to be to this person how they going to learn. Well, we should be different so they could see something else. We shouldn't be the same people that they're trying to be, trying to figure out, oh, no, you know, I got this wife, I got that wife, and you kind of treating them like whores, right? You got everything going on, and you saying it's legal, so you can do it. Can somebody grab me Revelations 4 and what is that? Revelation 3 and 15.
Book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse 15. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou were cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Because thou sayest, I am rich and increase with goods and have need of nothing. And knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked.
Right. And so, this particular community that's being talked about, they think they're good, right? But they don't know that they have half of what it takes to receive this thing, right? You are poor, but you don't realize you're poor, so you don't have that contrite spirit. You think everything cool. You think everything sweet, right? And the brother kind of brought this out last night. But it's one of those things where when you don't realize that you're missing something or coming short of some things, you don't see that you need salvation. Imagine saying, Yahweh shall come and say, yo, I'm here for you. Well, I'm already saved, Christ. I've been saved for 15 years. That don't even make no sense.
You question them. I'm already saying, what do you mean? It's over with.
Right. And so that you gotta be destroyed here.
Right. It's over.
Right? It make no sense. But I yield.
Quick point to that.
Don, you got it.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider. So just to add on to the point, like that's literally our people today walking up and down. Like, and I know brothers have been through this before, or we're like, hey, let me get a second, let's chop it up about God's word. They're like, oh, I already know that. I grew up in church. I done learned that already. And they don't even know that they're as lost as a broken compass, right? But y'all got it.